right, ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please, we are getting ready to get this thing started. So at this particular time, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the 2025 Shad candidates. Put your hands.
Y'all. It's okay to stand up and clap. These are the 2025 Shad candidates. Your family, your neighbors, Windsor's finest.
Good evening, everybody. Oh. All right. Good evening, everybody. Woo. Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we can have your attention, please, as Monica takes over at the main podium.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 58th Annual Shad Derby Coronation Ball. My name is Monica Nugent. I'm co-president of the Windsor Junior Women's Club, and I am joined by Regina Wiggins, our co-chair for the Coronation Ball. We would like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. As we start tonight's program, we would like to acknowledge the many guests who are past Shad Derby candidates, escorts, Shad Derby chairs, as well as Shad Derby queens. Many of you continue to be involved in the Windsor community, and we thank you for your service and dedication to the traditions of the Shad Derby, especially as we celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Shad Derby.
Okay. Hello. All right. The Shad Derby is Windsor's finest tradition, run by all volunteers from over 15 different civic and service organizations and supported by local businesses since 1955. This year marks the 58th celebration of the Coronation Ball. The ball, the parade, and the festival on the green, and 70 years since the first Shad Derby fishing tournament. The organizations participating this year are the Exchange Club of Windsor, the Rotary Club of Windsor, Windsor Locks and East Granby, the Windsor Rod and Gun Club, Windsor JCs, Windsor Junior Women's Club, Windsor Kiwanis Club, Windsor Lions Club, Washington Lodge number 7 AF and AM, Windsor Historical Society, Town of Windsor Recreation and Leisure Services, WIN TV, Windsor Chamber of Commerce, and the Windsor Art Center. Thank you for all your time and dedication to this tradition. The 2025 Shad Derby would also not be possible without the generous donations of all our sponsors, especially our platinum sponsors, Windsor Federal Savings and Carmen Family Funeral Homes. Thank you. And lastly, we would like to thank our Queen candidate sponsors, Dom's Broad Street Eatery, Doctors Genji and Anu, First Town Real Estate, Anuzio's Painting, PC Development Group, Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Centers, Rice Hardware, The Bean at 226, The Kitchen at Back East, Windsor Ace, Windsor Federal Bank, and the Windsor JCs. Thank you to these businesses and civic groups who have generously sponsored candidates and to the others who purchased ads in the Coronation Ball program. We sincerely appreciate your continued support and dedication to the traditions of the Shad Derby.
Each of tonight's candidates has been on a journey similar to that of the Shad. They started their journey at the Shad Derby Gala in March, where each candidate had the opportunity to introduce themselves to the judges, as well as their other candidates, families, and friends. There, the candidates were judged on a brief 1-minute speech. They continued the various Shad Derby events, including the bowling event, other local events, their interview night, and then to tonight. After their final speeches, one young woman will be crowned the Windsor Shad Derby Queen. We would like to thank Michelle Eleveld, our Judges Chair, Timothy Carmen, our Auditor, our judges, Candace Lecco, Michelle Smola, Joanne Cohen, and our alternate judge, Amanda Gibson. And finally, we would like to say thank you to our Queens Committee, Annalise Eleveld and Lauren Canoni, for leading the candidates to tonight. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure to welcome our 2025 Shad Derby Festival Chair, Patricia Mason.
Good evening, everyone. So after dinner, we will introduce our MC for the evening. You will then be able to hear each of the candidates' speeches. While the judges leave the room and deliberate, we invite you all to continue to mingle and dance until they come back with the announcement to the 2025 Shad Derby Queen and their court. Our invocation this year will be offered by Mayor Nushette Black Burke. Please join me in welcoming her up to the podium this evening.
Good evening. Good evening. We are all excited to be here for the 58th Coronation Ball, and as a town, we are celebrating the 70th year of the Shad Derby. That is amazing. It's definitely a Windsor tradition, and that's so Windsor. So let us center our hearts as we get ready to bless the meal and have our invocation for this evening. We've come together to celebrate, to pause, reflect, and express our gratitude for this tradition here in Windsor. Let us take a moment to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of everyone who has made this event possible through the years. And as we prepare to share this meal, let us be mindful of the abundance that surrounds us, be grateful for the hands that are working with us, and may this meal nourish our bodies, fuel our spirits, and may this evening inspire us to continue to work together for the betterment of our young people and our community. In the spirit of unity and gratitude, let us bless the meal. And all together we say, amen. Have a great evening.
we get you guys ready for dinner, do remember there is a photo booth in the back corner as well. So if you are looking for something to do before your meal comes out, there is a photo booth in the back corner. So please go back there and take a bunch of pictures and enjoy it up tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you can start to take your seats, we are going to get ready for the part you guys have been waiting for.
But we can't start without you.
All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, at this time, it is absolutely my pleasure to introduce our MC for the evening, Miss Stephanie Stone.
Hi. I'm Stephanie Stone. I'm your MC, but it's not mistress or master of ceremonies in this case, but magical connector, because tonight is all about connection. Connection between neighbors, sponsors, generations, and our traditions. The Shad Derby is iconic Windsor. So I'd like everybody in the room to stand up if you have ever marched in the Shad Derby parade at least one time. Now, I would like you to remain standing if you have marched in the parade more than 5 times. This is Windsor. So the Shad Derby is iconic Windsor. It is Stars Hollow on steroids. It has been a tradition since before the electric slide replaced the stroll and before Arthur Drugs was lost to CVS in the center of town. It started, admittedly, as a tribute to a fish, but it has taken on a life of its own. It's about pride in our roots, investing in our future, and celebrating Windsor's next generation. It's about showing up year after year to show our children and their children what community really looks and feels like. And speaking of community, I'd like to have one more round of applause for the candidates, their sponsors, and their families here tonight. If community involvement was an Olympic event, tonight's candidates and the people in this room would be taking home gold medals. I was in high school long before community involvement was a graduation requirement. When I went to UConn, I joined a sorority and got my first exposure to philanthropy. We worked together for causes we believed in and grew together in sisterhood and commitment, learning the value of giving back to our community. Before becoming a realtor in 2014, my career was in marketing communications for service providers and nonprofit organizations. Due to mergers and budget cuts, I was laid off several times in a few short years. During these challenging episodes of soul searching and job hunting, I volunteered at various organizations and celebrated the power and reward of doing hard work in the interest of others. Volunteering in your community is empowering and it's impactful. It's about lifting one another up, even when you're feeling overwhelmed. This group of candidates embodies that spirit of togetherness. They cheer one another on. They say, "You've got this," and they mean it. They are showing their fellow students and the adults in their lives what leadership looks like with kindness, humor, and enthusiasm. What makes tonight special, what makes Windsor strong, what makes Windsor shine is not just the derby or the parade or the flattering lighting at the photo booth. It's the people. It's the young people like these candidates who have studied hard, supported one another, and cheered one another on with purpose. Tonight is a celebration of what happens when focused young people work hard and live out their dreams, when they lift one another up in friendly competition and make magic happen. Tonight is a celebration of Windsor's rich history, the people who carry on our beloved traditions, and the future of our candidates and what they are building, one speech at a time. I am thrilled and honored to be part of this special evening, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2025 Shad Derby candidates and their escorts. Sarah Eisner, accompanied by Trevor Shepard Jr., Windsor Ace Hardware.
This is for you, my number one.
Hannah Donzella, accompanied by William Morin, the Bean 226. Sydney Hicks, accompanied by Aiden Illingsworth, Windsor JCs. Ava Passon, accompanied by Samuel Garcia, Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Center. Abby Griskowicz, accompanied by Stanley Griskowicz, PC Development Group. Malia Lebre, accompanied by Matthew Nishawat from I See New Painting. Isabel Elam, accompanied by Michael Hughes, Dr. Ganji, and Dr. Anu. Charlotte Anderson, accompanied by Jackson McNamara, Dom's Broad Street Eatery. Grayson Harris and Ian Santiago from Windsor Federal Bank. Grace Hoffman, escorted by Blaze Harrington from Rice Hardware. Chloe Taylor, accompanied by Holden Wright, First Town Real Estate. Finally, Sophia Caldwell, accompanied by Alex Dufresne, the kitchen at Back East. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your 2025 Shad Derby candidates. Each candidate has prepared an essay in response to the following statement. Over the last 70 years, the Shad Derby has been running on the countless hours of civic groups and volunteers in town. In 2025, civic groups are having a hard time finding volunteers to join. What is one way you would promote community outreach for civic groups today, and why is volunteering so important? Our first candidate is Sarah Eisner.
Volunteering and community service has always been an important part of my life. As a family, we belong to different clubs and organizations such as Girl Scouts, church groups, and other community groups. At each volunteer event, I was able to gain something new. Sometimes this was a new friend, other times I was learning a new skill. One of the most important reasons volunteering is so important is the sense of community created through volunteering. Volunteering brings others together to work towards a common goal. Many times, this experience offers personal fulfillment by making a difference within our community. I was very fortunate to be exposed to these opportunities through my family involvement. However, not everyone has had the same experiences I have had. I will likely continue growth through civic groups and volunteering since I have benefited from the opportunities I have been exposed to. For those that have not been exposed to these opportunities, they don't know what they're missing. Unfortunately, this ultimately leads to the reduced number of volunteers. Our generation needs to learn about these opportunities from somewhere. If it's not from their family, it must come from the school or through other community resources. One organization that has attempted to get in front of our generation in Windsor is the Lions Club. The Lions Club has established a group for young individuals called the Leos Club. Through Leos Club, individuals learn about what the Lions Club is all about and can get involved in the community at a young age. Windsor Lions Club began a chapter of the Leos in the middle school and has evolved and moved up to the high school, offering members leadership and volunteer opportunities. This is where it begins. Exposure at this age is important to build bonds between Leos and Lions and likely continue involvement. This model could be adopted by other organizations to educate students about volunteer opportunities available to them. Another opportunity to increase exposure at a young age is to offer opportunities for youth to volunteer. Windsor High School students are required to complete 20 hours of community service to graduate. If organizations short on volunteers offered options for those needing the 20 hours to graduate, they could be paired up with an organization. This would help the student get acquainted with one of the civic organizations and would help the organization fill the need. This small gesture could lead to a future member once the student realizes the benefits they've received from the volunteer experience. I'm sure you will still find me involved in community activities once I finish my time at Windsor High School. In addition, others that have experienced the personal growth and fulfillment from volunteering will also likely be involved. The key is to get more youth engaged and exposed to these groups. Without community service and volunteerism, these groups cannot exist. I am thankful my parents exposed me to volunteerism from a young age, as this is where it begins. In addition, I am thankful to my sponsor, Windsor Ace Hardware, for being a role model for community involvement, as well as allowing me to be a part of this community event tonight. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hannah Donzella.
Good evening. Hidden within my copy of Six of Crows by Lee Bardo is a beautiful quote that states, "Sometimes you have to find family, not the one you're born into, but the one that loves you." The notion of found family is common amongst fantasy stories as it ignites themes of love and stability. As our lives imitate fiction, many people find themselves branching out and building their own inner circle. I found my people amongst the island of misfit toys that is the running community. Distance runners are some of the most welcoming and optimistic people. My mother had this in mind when she started a local run club in Windsor in 2017. She co-founded Windsor's Girls in Stride, which is a national civic organization with branches across the country. The club started off as a way to foster confidence in young girls, but evolved into so much more. Members found themselves naturally investing their time into community outreach. And in the first year alone, Girls in Stride was able to raise funds for over 50 of our girls to participate in Windsor's very own Shad Derby road race. These young runners returned year after year because of each other. They had found their people, their community, their family. The beauty behind civic groups is their ability to formulate these unique bonds amongst their members. By building off of the individuality of each group, we can boost participation by analyzing the current dynamics. Spontaneous publicity can only be built from the inside out. It starts at the core of a group and must be born from pure enjoyment. When a group emulates an inviting and loving environment, it will lure people with the same moral agenda. Flyers about a meeting will simply be blown away over time, forgotten, but the stories overheard can be carried by the wind for new ears to hear. In Girls in Stride, we were so infatuated with the memories we made, it became a second nature to carry our positivity into the town. This natural advertisement is the truest way to boost participation, as people's anecdotes are the most impactful motivator. As a civic group member, I came to learn that passion and excitement is contagious. My love of running was spurred from the volunteers of my childhood run club. Now, as a young woman, I know it is my honor to assume that role. Volunteering for me is not work or job, but instead an inherited privilege. In our polarized society, we often find ourselves consumed within our own little bubbles. Yet outside our fictitious walls are countless other people simultaneously existing around us. Volunteerism bridges the gaps between our realms and pulls in people who might otherwise have never crossed paths. By volunteering, we allow our lives to become intertwined with those around us as we fabricate our own found families. Together, through our bonds of selflessness, we can aid our connectivity and share our stories. As an employee at the BNUT 226, I hear my fair share of voluntary advocacy for various civic groups. I can guarantee that the person next to you in line will always have a story to share, one that might spark your own participation. Thank you to Mel for introducing such a spectacular environment into our community and for this incredible opportunity to run for the 2025 Shad Derby Queen.
Our next candidate is Sydney Hicks.
Good evening. When sitting down to write my speech, I found myself unsure of how to approach the designated prompt. Speaking out to your peers is a bit unprecedented for a 17-year-old girl. In our ever-changing society, it's become clear that teens are losing interest in community-based activities. Windsor civic groups are an exceptional example of what it is to be a part of our community. They have carefully constructed our close-knit town through tradition and charm. In order to carry on such astounding legacies, we're going to need dedicated youth. However, in a society fueled by the expectations of social media, the priorities upheld by younger people have shifted dramatically. So this begs the question, how do we involve younger generations in service that's geared towards an entirely different demographic? This opened an amazing opportunity to sit down with a few of our civic leaders. Ron Eleveld of the Windsor Rotary Club shared his thoughts on the matter. Teenagers now are so captivated with technology, it's become their entire world. They sit in front of a screen and miss what's actually going on around them, which aligns with the statistics provided by Joshua Mead and the Windsor JCs. Only 4% of those participating in civic groups are under the age of 24, whereas the largest margin is between ages 45 and 54. We need to boost engagement with younger generations by engaging with students through relevant apps such as Instagram and TikTok. In doing so, groups will find our youth more willing to participate. The most important message to send is how rewarding it is to give back to the community. What makes our town so unique is the way we come together in order to make events something to remember. The feeling of gratification is what creates consistency in acts of service. Once students can see how they're able to positively impact our community, they'll want to continue these activities. Once I spoke with every group, I was able to combine their individual ideas into one unified goal. By using the hold social media has on our general population, we can replace damaging messages with positive community outreach. By building upon the already strong foundation of our town, we can reach teens through the way they idealize society. This will only reinforce connection with the Windsor community. To my fellow teenagers who aren't sure of how or where to begin, don't be afraid. Reach out to the groups in town and volunteer your time. If we don't act now, the traditions we hold near and dear to us will wither away. It is important for us to be involved in our community because it's our future. I would like to express my gratitude to the Windsor JCs for sponsoring me. I'm extremely grateful to have had the opportunity to be a Queen's candidate and experience the Shad Derby in a whole new light. Thank you to everyone for coming tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Our next speaker this evening is Ava Passon.
When I say the word volunteer, what comes to mind? For most teenagers, there's a good chance they're thinking of a boring activity that takes up time when they'd rather be doing something else. I, too, was one of the freshman students who looked at my graduation requirements and sighed when I saw the volunteer hours listed. We were provided a list of in-school options, but I believe there's a bigger opportunity to make a connection between volunteering and someone's passion. Today, civic groups are having a hard time increasing involvement, and I feel like there's a few different reasons for that. We grew up watching shows and movies where service hours were portrayed as a punishment instead of enjoyment. For example, your classic bad boy breaks a major school rule, and what is he told to do? Complete a certain number of service hours to be forgiven. I know in what I've been exposed to in everyday life, seldom has volunteerism been portrayed as fun or enjoyable. Rather, it was an obligation or discipline. What if we heard volunteer or community service and thought of something enjoyable? Let's flip the script. Let me introduce you to the idea of the Passion Project. Imagine a resource where people of all ages could not only find opportunities to serve the community, but they could choose from numerous areas of interest. A woman who loves cooking has the potential to prepare meals for an upcoming community dinner. A retired landscaper could lend their green thumb to teach Girl Scouts about the importance of gardening. The civic groups in our area rely on the rest of us to help them carry out their missions. I believe as we are busier than ever and more engaged online, the less we're aware of the needs in our community. A resource like the Passion Project would allow someone to locate a need in an area they're interested in. There's the potential to get more people involved in our town and at a younger age. If children had access to service opportunities earlier, it could help train them up to be more involved in the community throughout their life. Volunteerism has the chance to shape each and every one of us into better human beings. There are benefits far beyond what the eye can see. Nothing tangible is placed in your hand as you work. No money goes into your bank account. What you gain is a sense of accomplishment, purpose, and belonging. When I can see how my actions impact those around me, it raises awareness of needs in the community. I know firsthand that when you volunteer with a group, you can bond over shared interests, learn communication skills, collaborate, and work together. I have an interest and skill set for design, working on a team, and creating environments for other people to enjoy. Recently, I found a way to volunteer in an area I'm passionate about. My service hours are spent doing nonprofit events, which allows me to do something I love that also benefits the community. If the Passion Project existed, I'd be able to know other organizations that would benefit from my skills. Last Friday night, Katy Perry was partying, drinking, dancing on tabletops, and wearing sparkly dresses. Last Friday night, I was dressed in all black, stretching tablecloths across banquet tables and setting up a photo booth. We all know how the songs go, but let's rewrite them for the future. There isn't a one-size-fits-all to volunteer work. Finding your groove involves encouraging people to serve in things they're passionate about. Special thanks to PCSMC for sponsoring me this year.
Our next candidate is Abby Griskowicz.
Good evening, everyone. Growing up here in Windsor, the Shad Derby has always been one of my favorite times of year. I remember waking up early on Shad Derby Day and heading to the town green to set up with my dad and the Windsor JCs. I have many fond memories of eating fried dough and winning lots of goldfish from the Rod and Gun Club booth. Seriously, lots of goldfish. Marching in the parade was the best part. Between seeing all the different groups and waving at the crowd, I felt so proud to be part of our town. As a little girl, I always looked up to the Shad Derby Queens. And now that I'm standing here, it's kind of surreal and honestly a little terrifying. Living just a short walk from the green, those little moments built a strong sense of connection to Windsor. But needless to say, none of this would be possible without volunteers. The Shad Derby, the parades, the booths, and most importantly, the spirit of Windsor. All of it runs on people giving their time year after year. And today, it's getting harder than ever to find volunteers. Life is busy, and it's easy to think that we don't have enough time, but volunteering needs to be a priority. The best way to encourage involvement is leading by example. Throughout my life, my parents have been involved in all my activities. Their example led me to get involved in service at a young age, and I quickly found a love for volunteering. My whole life I've been involved in Girl Scouts, which gave me many opportunities to give back to the community. I also have always been involved at my school and church by organizing fundraisers and events. This year, I became the first ever high school member of my parish council. And recently, over spring break, I had the opportunity to volunteer at a homeless center in Washington, D.C. Seeing the impact one meal can make put my trivial problems into perspective. I try to encourage others to serve by expressing how meaningful service is to me. Young people are the future of our community's traditions, so it is crucial to engage them in service. There are many rewards to volunteering, like leadership skills, real connection to our hometown, and the pride that comes from making a difference. And it is so beneficial to experience this at a young age. Community service hours for school are a good start, but we need to foster lifelong volunteering. So how do we do this? In addition to leading by example, we need to take advantage of young people's prominent mode of communication, social media. Most young people may not know of the many volunteer opportunities that exist. We need to help them discover how volunteering can align with their passions. Combining service with their interests will motivate them to spread the word and influence others to join. Our world is divided, but volunteering brings people together. I'm grateful for everyone who came before us who built these traditions. Now it's our turn. It's our time to step up, serve, and make Windsor even stronger for the future. Special thanks to my family and my sponsor, PC Development Group. Thank you all for being here and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Our next candidate is Malia Alabre from Iceno Painting.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Windsor has always been a town built on connection, neighbors helping neighbors, and generations working side by side. I think we can all agree that we feel a shared sense of community, especially at events like this. A cornerstone of that spirit is based on service. At Windsor's best, community service does more than benefit others. It transforms those who lend a helping hand and allows young people to explore who they are, what they value, and what kind of impact they'd like to leave on the world. Teaching responsibility not through lectures, but through action. When students decide what to do with their future, service has the ability to transform not just their resume, but their identity. However, as great as that sounds, somewhere along the way, community service has become more of a requirement than a calling. Too often, it's been reduced to a checklist, rushed, impersonal, and quickly forgotten. And I don't think it has to be this way. That's why tonight, I want to introduce to you a new idea, one that makes service not just more accessible, but more meaningful, and it's called Windsor Connect. Windsor Connect is a proposal for a high school-based program that integrates community service into the rhythm of the school week. Instead of asking students to find time outside of their already packed schedules, Windsor Connect would offer consistent, structured opportunities during the school day. It isn't just about convenience. It's about creating a space where students can grow through giving and where service becomes routine and a regular part of life. Students would explore different ways to get involved, whether traveling to Sage Park to tutor middle schoolers, revamping local parks, or maintaining the school and town gardens. Each project would be designed to fulfill a need in the community and help students explore the avenues of their strengths, passions, and purpose. Throughout the school year, Windsor Connect would host brief flash talks from local organizations, community leaders, and Windsor businesses, helping students discover ongoing opportunities to get involved and stay connected with the community outside of school hours. With Windsor Connect, we're not just proposing a way to meet graduation requirements. We're offering a way to build character, strengthen relationships, and ignite a lasting love for service. Students will walk away with more than just service hours. They'll walk away with dignity, perspective, and new relationships, and a deep-rooted connection to the community that helped raise them. When service is consistent, accessible, and genuine, it becomes more than a task. It becomes a cherished tradition, a culture rooted in honor, friendships, empathy, and love for our community that we wish to uphold. Windsor can take pride in this legacy, not just today, but for our future and generations to come. I want to thank you all for taking your time to join us at this ball. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Rob from Iceno Painting, my sponsor, for believing in me, and this is immensely generous. Over a decade ago, when we won the legendary Little Goldfish at the Shad Derby, Rob told me I would run someday, and look at us now. Ever since I have known you, your belief in my ability to accomplish anything has been evident through countless opportunities. Being a part of this cherished Windsor tradition with you means so much to me. I honestly couldn't have imagined doing this without you and your love for the Windsor community that we are so lucky to live in. Thank you all, and have a great night.
Our next candidate is Isabel Elam.
Good evening, and thank you all for coming. At the start of the pageant, my fellow contestants and I were asked how to promote community outreach for civic groups and why volunteering is so important. Questions we will answer tonight. Community outreach, in essence, is a connection between civic groups and their communities. This connection is built through activities participated in by the civic group and the community, in which the civic group helps to create these events and the community gets to enjoy them, bringing awareness to the civic group and their causes. However, more recently, civic groups are finding it harder to foster the understanding that allows them to build a strong connection and gather more volunteers. One issue I've observed contributing to this is the lack of awareness in communities regarding civic groups. As we move into an increasingly digital age, civic groups must utilize websites in order to continue to spread awareness about their causes and upcoming events. But these websites may be difficult at times to find or to navigate, creating issues in spreading the information. Due to this, one way to promote community outreach for civic groups would be to establish a strong electronic base across websites and social media platforms, allowing the public a wide variety of ways to access information about the civic group, such as their causes, upcoming events, and more. By increasing the amount of available information, these civic groups will be able to create a strong connection with their community and foster more community outreach. It's important to recognize that the work of civic groups wouldn't be possible without their members, the dedicated volunteers. Volunteers help put together the events that make our Windsor community unique, such as our Shad Derby Festival. Volunteers make our community cleaner, safer, and more connected, building a strong foundational network of support for everyone. Through volunteering, people can give back to their community and make a difference in people's lives in really meaningful ways. Without the work of our volunteers, our community would look completely different. That is why encouraging community outreach and fostering involvement is so important. Thank you to all the hardworking volunteers that made the Shad Derby Festival and every event in Windsor possible. Special thanks to my sponsor, Drs. Robert Ganji and Anuna Lissery, for giving me the privilege of participating in the pageant. I appreciate all of you for coming here tonight to support the Shad Derby and the work of these volunteers, and I hope you have an excellent evening.
Our next candidate this evening is Charlotte Anderson.
Good evening. At the beginning of freshman year, I was faced with the task of completing 20 hours of community service over the next 4 years of my high school career. 5 hours a year does not seem like much of a task, but I've seen how those hours have strongly impacted me and my classmates. A graduation requirement was all that it was supposed to be, but it turned out to be so much more. While volunteering at toy drives, fundraisers, and managing the Windsor High School tennis team, I've been able to learn that volunteering gives back to the community, but also builds personal growth while giving us an opportunity to learn in settings outside of the classroom. I was lucky enough to be born into a family that is so involved in the Windsor community. I've been volunteering in various ways for as long as I can remember, but throughout high school, I have learned why the hours I have put in have a purpose and make a difference. One of the main ways I have volunteered is by being a Girl Scout. Alongside my friends, we as a troop have made dog toys for guide dogs, created a community library, and done many other projects that have taught me and my troop the importance of giving back. A part of the Girl Scout law says to make a world a better place. Although it may sound cheesy, through my experiences volunteering and being a Girl Scout, I have learned that community service isn't only about helping others, but contributes to self-growth and finding a purpose for what you do. Applying that part of the Girl Scout law to everyday life does not only help the community, but it has also made me a better person. I would encourage others to be a part of civic groups by promoting them at town events. At events like the Shad Derby, Chili Challenge, and the summer concerts on the Green, you are always greeted by a friendly stranger, an old friend, and everyone in between. Windsor is home to so many great civic organizations. Within our town, there is something for everyone. Every civic group has a purpose, and they all do so much for Windsor. Our town events are where Windsor citizens feel most like a community. By approaching someone with a kind and welcoming attitude at a place that embraces our love for the community, you are able to show the power that volunteers hold. By showing a love of volunteering, others can catch on to that feeling and apply it into their own lives. Local civic groups can take advantage of that community feeling and show that being a part of their organization not only helps the town as a whole, but can also foster friendships and be a fun and enjoyable experience. By showing enthusiasm as a group, you're able to show that being a volunteer can be rewarding in many ways, and volunteering is not something to hide from, but it is something that you should embrace. I would like to thank Dom's Broad Street Eatery for sponsoring me and giving me this great opportunity to be here tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Our next candidate is Grayson Harris.
Good evening. Over the last 70 years, the Shad Derby has thrived thanks to the countless hours of work put in by civic groups and volunteers in town. But today, civics groups are struggling to find enough people to join in and help. One of the ways I would promote community outreach is by using social media to tell the stories of real volunteers. We live in an age now consumed by technology, and along with that, people have hours of screen time on social media. Sharing short videos, photos, and testimonials would show the community the real impact volunteers have and how rewarding it can be to get involved. When people see the personal side of volunteering, especially younger generations who spend a lot of time online, they're more likely to feel inspired to take part. Volunteering is incredibly important because it brings people together. A strong community is not solely built by the same zip code, but by shared purpose, mutual respect, and willingness to lift every voice. As a student, athlete, volunteer, and future dentist, I believe that real change starts with individuals who are committed to inclusivity, service, and sustained connection. A united community starts with understanding and valuing the different identities and experiences that make it up. My involvement in groups like National Honor Society, Rho Kappa, and Spanish Honor Society have allowed me to witness the firsthand importance of appreciating diverse perspectives while working towards shared goals. Community building also requires us to engage with each other in meaningful ways, not just during moments of crisis or celebration, but in the everyday. Through work experience, I've experienced how simply treating each person with kindness and respect can build trust and belonging. And similarly, my experience as a track athlete has shown me the value of teamwork, resilience, supporting others through both wins and losses. These lessons translate beyond sports or work. They are the foundation for any inclusive and supportive community. It is important to build strong, just communities because they are the backbone of societal progress. In a world filled with division, inequality, and rapid change, communities that value equity, compassion, and collaborations will thrive. Due to all those things that build communities, civics groups help promote those. Investing in civics groups to make sure important traditions like the Shad Derby can continue for future generations. It's one of the things that make Windsor special. It also gives volunteers a chance to learn new skills, meet new people, and make a difference in the town they call home. Without volunteers, events like the Shad Derby wouldn't be possible, and a sense of pride and togetherness that comes would slowly fade away. That's why finding new ways to promote community outreach is so important today. Thank you to Windsor Federal Bank for sponsoring me and the volunteers that have made this event possible. Thank you and good evening.
Our next candidate is Grace Hoffman.
Good evening, everyone. The one thing that comes to my mind whenever I think of the town of Windsor is that everyone knows everyone. You go to the grocery store and run into your neighbor, or you go to the library and see a patron from your church. Growing up, I've always tried to give back to my community. The main way I do that is by volunteering, working with the people in this town to make it the very best it can be. Sadly, in 2025, civic groups are having a harder time getting volunteers to join them. This then begs the question, why is this happening? Personally, I believe that it has to do with the civic engagement patterns. There's a growing trend of people prioritizing personal interests over civic engagement. This is potentially leading to a decline in volunteering. I remember as a kid, this town would be buzzing with volunteers of all ages. Now, I see people getting less and less motivated to give back to their community. Because of this, civic groups are having challenges recruiting people. One way I would promote community outreach for civic groups is with collaboration. If people work together to create events or service opportunities that cater to what the community wants, our town would thrive. For example, we can make a system for people to talk to someone when it comes to their mental health. Sometimes people just need someone to listen to them, not necessarily talk to. This could be a system for people of all ages. If we all could listen to one another, we might understand each other better. This way, the community, volunteers, and civic groups benefit from it. Like the great Sir Isaac Newton stated, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, meaning it must go both ways, even if the outcome was not what was planned. That just means there's more room for change. Civic groups must put their priorities first, but things won't change unless we, the community, make that change. So we must speak to the leaders of groups and ask if there are ways we can help get their message across easier. And they must speak to the community and hear what they want to see happen in this town. Everyone's voice is important and everyone should be heard. As I look around this room, I see many faces of people who have given back to this town for decades. Along with them, I see many faces of people who have not been given the opportunity, but they are going to make a positive change. They are the ones who will lead this town with love and character. They are the ones who will be shaping the future generations. If you want them to succeed, we need to make sure these changes happen now. Now finally, look to your right and look to your left. If you truly love this town and what the people in and out of this room have done for you and for many, then I implore you to continue that legacy. Go out and vote, donate to the local food drive, and get in contact with groups that share your interests. Make that change. The town is counting on all of us. Lastly, I would like to thank my sponsor, Rice Hardware, for supporting me, and for all of you for being here tonight. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Chloe Taylor.
Good evening, everyone. Volunteering isn't just about giving back, It's about coming together, building connections, and strengthening our community. Like my parents, I was fortunate enough to grow up in Windsor. My earliest memories include the Shad Derby. When I was little, I would be so excited to watch the parade go by with my parents and baby brother. Then I got to be a part of it myself. Walking with Little League when I played T-ball that one year, with K-Kids, my travel soccer team, and later with my mom and other town officials. For me, the Shad Derby has always been a part of my Windsor experience. But I realized that not everyone has those same core memories. That's why we need to make people feel more connected, not just to events like this, but to the community itself. I recently asked some of my friends if they know about the Derby. While they all knew about the Shad Derby, many had no idea what it takes to make it happen. We see the parade, the pageant, and the activities on the green, but we don't always see the volunteers and civic groups working behind the scenes to bring it to life. And if people don't know, how can they step up to help? I had a similar realization in 4th grade when my principal challenged each student to donate a package of diapers to the Windsor Food and Fuel Bank. I didn't know that families in my own town needed that kind of support. Wanting to do more, I set a goal of collecting 10 packages of diapers. I reached out to everyone I knew and went live on my mother's Facebook page. I surpassed that goal, collecting over 75. Winning a pizza party for the entire 4th grade was fun, but what really stuck with me was that the lesson that even the youngest among us can make an impact. Fast forward to now, I am always glad to roll up my sleeves with my friends to give back. Giving back feels just as important as the sports I play. I share my story because inspiration is contagious. That's why we need to introduce community service earlier, and not just as a high school requirement, but as a natural part of growing up in Windsor. Younger kids should have more opportunities to get involved, to see how events really come together, and feel empowered to contribute. Imagine if every new family got information on local civic groups as soon as they moved here, or if elementary and middle school students were encouraged to volunteer in meaningful ways, not just by walking in a parade. When we start young, service becomes a habit, and not just something we do, but something we're proud to be a part of. Volunteering strengthens our community, and it helps us grow as individuals. It teaches leadership, empathy, and the value of service. When we invest in our communities, we don't just help those in need, it also builds relationships, creates memories, and leaves a lasting impact. So tonight, I challenge each of you to find a cause that resonates with you and take that first step towards involvement. If we all do our part, the spirit of civic engagement that has kept the Shad Derby a community pillar for 70 years will grow stronger with more hands to help. Thank you to First Town Real Estate for this opportunity. Thank you and enjoy the evening.
Our final candidate speaking this evening is Sophia Caldwell.
Good evening, everyone. As you already know, my name is Sophia, and today I'm here to share an idea with you. 70 years ago, the Shad Derby began as a small celebration powered entirely by neighbors who cared enough to give their time. Today, our civic groups, the backbone of our town, are struggling to find those volunteers, and I'd like to share a plan to change that and remind us why volunteering remains so vital. Imagine a monthly service spotlight, a pop-up on our town green, a festive, rotating showcase where each civic group, from the Lions Club to the Garden Society, sets up a simple booth. No speeches, no props, just volunteers sharing their stories. The senior who found companionship at the Windsor Food and Fuel Bank. The teenager who discovered a passion for history by going to the Windsor Historical Society. The family who forged lifelong friendships clearing trails together. We'd invite everyone, students, parents, and seniors, to stop by, ask questions, sign up on the spot, or take a flyer. By humanizing our work, letting people meet those we serve and those who serve, we tap into the simple power of connection. Once someone hears about the joy of teaching a child to fish or sees how a 2-hour shift at the food pantry truly feeds a family for a week, the abstract becomes personal. Our service spotlight could travel from park to park, rotate through the Thursday concerts and farmers markets, even pair with sporting events, any place people already gather. But why does volunteering matter? Because it transforms us. We learn that our neighbor is not a stranger, but someone whose hopes and needs resonate with our own. We develop pride in our town's story, knowing we have a hand in writing it. We spark skills, leadership, communication, and problem solving that enrich every part of life. And we forge stronger, more resilient community ready to face challenges together. Volunteering isn't about grand gestures, it's about showing up. 3 hours a week, an afternoon a month, or even just planting flowers in a public garden. It's about believing that each of us has something to give and that giving it brings us closer together. So tonight, I pledge to work with our civic groups to launch service spotlights, to share the faces behind the names and make signing up as easy as taking a stroll through town. Together, we'll remind Windsor that volunteering isn't a chore, it's our chance to connect, to grow, and to keep the Shad Derby spirit alive for another 70 years. I'd once again like to thank my sponsor, the Kitchenette Back East, for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Let's have one more round of applause for our candidates. I want to thank our candidates and the judges are now going to leave the room for deliberation. Tonight's entertainment and photo booth is provided by MNE Events. At this time, we want to invite all of the candidates and their escorts to enjoy their first dance. After their first dance, we invite everyone to join them on the dance floor.
Jamil.
You guys did amazing. Make some noise for yourselves, y'all. I'm looking around right now. I see the potential queens. I see some former queens, but to me, everybody in this building right now is the queen. And that's why we're going to take it right here, DJ. Yes! I didn't tell you you're going to sit down. We're going to turn this thing into a party. DJ T-Buzz. I go by the name of somebody in the first. I'm ready to party. You know the words, sing along, come on. Oh, y'all sound good out there, come on. the flow. Shorty got low. Take it down now to the flow. those ones already. Y'all, that's the old ones. Y'all know about the new one? Y'all want to learn a new dance today? Hey, put the new one on. Let's see if they know this one. Anybody know the new one? Not one person? All right, we gonna learn something new today. Because I'm also Mr. Bass from Sage Park. So I'll teach y'all. Right, watch. Right foot slide. Left foot slide. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Now this part you do with your hips. Right to left, right to left. Right. Back it up. Back it up. Now turn to the right. Come on. Right foot slide. Left foot slide. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Watch the hips. Okay, y'all doing good. Alright, hips. Let me see this. Look. Back it up. Back it up. Now turn to your left. Come on. Right foot slide. Left foot slide. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Hips, y'all. To the left, to the right, to the left. Back it up. Turn to your left. Come on. Right foot. Slide to the left. Right foot. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot. Come on, please. Back it up. Back it up. Now turn. Come on, now, Noah. Come on. Right foot. Left foot. Right foot. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Back it up. Back it up. Right foot slide. Left foot slide. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Watch the hips. Do the hips. Watch the hips, y'all. Back it up. Back it up. Now turn to your left. Come on. You got it. Left foot slide. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Hips. There we go. Back it up. Now turn to your left. Come on. Right foot. Left foot. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Back it up. Back it up. Now turn to y'all look good. Y'all look. Right foot. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Back it up. Back it up. You doing it. You doing it. Come on, yeah, you got it. Come on. Right foot slide, left foot slide, right foot, left foot, then turn, right foot, left foot, then turn. Now hips to the left, to the right, to the left. Back it up, back it up. Now turn to you. There you go. Y'all looking good.
I told her, get up on her feet, she get the way she get the moving down it. Come on, baby, you got it. Tell you from the beat that we run, but he shirt gun. And if I like you, I'm gonna get you wine cut. I said you look good, pretty face, body good.
And I said you look good, super good from the lip can. You got me? When you with your friends, I don't know what you be saying, but you be.
This one for the kids.
Okay. Who tripping now? Who shaking? Only two I'm thinking about. And I can see what's next, so I'm gonna send it overnight. And as soon as you come over, I'm gonna
I learned. Yeah, I feel like, Mike. Yeah, ran up the phone and I ain't talking about a fight. Never like
Pretty in the face, definitely my type. And for that, I book it flat. So where you trying to go? She said, let's go to Turkey. Say no more. Case closed.
Still young and I got high boy, he need to get the I told her, get up on her feet, she get the way she get the moving, got it. Come on.
I just heard some news. I heard the judges were having a little bit of trouble. I heard the competition was too steep, so I need a favor. On the count of 3, I need you guys to yell who you want to win. On the count of 3, we're going to scream who we want to win. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3, who you want to win? Judges, I hope that helped. Well, listen, while they get the party ready, we still have the party going. Let's go, DJ. Hold on, guys, I got a question for you. So I don't know if you heard me earlier, but aside from doing this, I'm also Mr. Bass at Sage Park Middle School. So anytime I get a chance to ask you guys a quiz question, I'm going to do it. So at this particular time, it's real quick. We just got a trivia question for you. You just shout it out if you know the answer. What is the 9th month of the year? That's right. You like how I did that, huh? Hey! The judges are almost ready, y'all. This is going to be the last song. Let's party it up. Come on, sing! The judges are almost ready, so this is the last chance to party it up. Come on! So right now we are ready to crown some queens. All right, MC, it's on you. You take it over.
Ladies and gentlemen, the judges have finished their deliberations. At this time, I would like to welcome all of the candidates back. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and welcome once again our 2025 Shad Derby candidates. I now have the absolute pleasure of introducing Serena Sky Raymond, the 2024 Shad Derby Queen. Serena is currently a student at Macalester College in St. Paul, Minnesota, majoring in media and cultural studies and minoring in American studies and theater. They enjoy writing music and recording documentaries in their free time. Please join me in welcoming Serena Sky Raymond.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and especially a good evening to this year's Shad Derby Queen candidates. I remember what it was like to be nervously anticipating the results of the Coronation Ball while standing in heels for 30-plus minutes that tremendously hurt your feet. So trust me, I get it when I tell you that whatever the results may be tonight, you will go out into the world with new eyes. The Shad Derby Queen pageant is a unique experience that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. There's nothing quite like writing speeches about yourself, trying to sum up who you are within a few minutes. But this is a skill that you will take with you for job interviews, scholarship opportunities, and social interactions. The Shad Derby pageant taught me and forced me to face the fear of the awkwardness in conversations and social interactions. It taught me to be proud of my voice and that there is power when I speak. I used this lesson while leading chants and songs through the streets of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I used my voice while creating a documentary advocating for student workers' rights on my campus. And I'm using my voice to encourage you now to use yours. Once you become aware of the power of your voice has, you can use it to make an impact on the world, especially in this political climate where voices of color and women voices are often ignored and suppressed. Your Shad Derby Queen candidates have power and the power to speak your mind. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't, and carry that power with intention and eloquence. I'm no longer that scared, uncertain person I was over a year ago before I became the 2024 Shad Derby Queen. I'm the confident, proud adult who is looking back at you today, telling you that life is so much bigger than it may seem, and you will love the world that you become a part of when you leave high school and start a new journey. What you're learning today here is about so much more than a town tradition or a pageant. It's about figuring out who you are and how you want to take up space in this world. Wherever you go, know that this experience can be informative for the ways you carry yourself in these coming years if you allow it to be so. You all have been doing so amazing job representing the historical traditions of Windsor, and I know you will take it with you wherever you go in this world. Because you never really leave a place you love, you take a part of it with you and leave a part of you behind. So I won't leave you any waiting longer for the results. I hope you all find success in your journeys, so thank you.
I would now like to introduce and welcome the official auditor for the 2025 Shad Derby, Timothy Carmen.
Good evening. In my hand, I have the results of the 2025 Shad Derby, the Mary Ellen Messina Award, the Vince Scully Memorial Award, Miss Congeniality, Second Princess, First Princess, Princess Royale, and the Queen. As the auditor of the Shad Derby, my job has been to remain independent of the judges and the contestants, tabulate the judges' scores after each event, and present the winner to the MC at tonight's event. I'm grateful that the committee asked me back again this year, as it's really a privilege to listen to these 12 young ladies talk about their diverse talents, backgrounds, and experiences. Every year I take away something from what the contestants share, and it helps me to reflect on my own life. Realizing that I am what stands between all of you and the winners being announced, I'd like to take a few minutes and share how these honors are determined. As I mentioned, 5 designations will be awarded: Miss Congeniality, Second Princess, First Princess, Princess Royale, and the Queen. And 2 special awards. The Mary Ellen Messina Award is determined by the judges based on an essay written by each of the contestants. Each judge looks at the content of the essay and how well each contestant expressed themselves and their community service involvement. The Vince Scully Memorial Award is given to the contestant who demonstrated their support and involvement throughout this year's Shad Derby events and most closely encapsulated the spirit and dedication Vince had for this timeless tradition. Miss Congeniality is awarded to the contestant who has received the most number of votes from among her peers. Each of the contestants was asked to cast 1 vote on who they believed was most deserving of the title, Miss Congeniality. The individual with the most votes will be honored as the favorite among her peers. The next 4 awards or honors are awarded to the top 4 contestants who have received the highest number of votes from the judges throughout the process. The scores are comprised of 3 judges' votes over 3 separate nights, tonight being the final night. I'll take you back to that first night in early March. The contestants met with the judges for the first time and were asked to deliver a 1-minute speech about themselves. We heard about their love for dance, music, singing, poetry, painting, and knitting. They spoke of their sports achievements in field hockey, lacrosse, track, softball, volleyball, basketball, and cross country. Their work with religious education, theater, band, and police cadets. And they spoke about their future plans to study medicine, actuarial studies, communications, journalism, psychology, engineering, Spanish, and wedding planning. These speeches introduced these young women as they are and proved to the judges it would be another tough year. This was 15% of the overall score and was based on presentation of their speech, poise, and appearance. In April, the second round kicked off at the town hall, and this was 60% of the contestants' overall score. Each candidate met individually with a panel of judges for 10 to 15 minutes for a question and answer session. Each candidate was asked 4 questions. Many schools are dropping standardized testing. Do you agree? What's your opinion of AI, helpful or harmful? If you could start a charity or community initiative, what would it be and why? And finally, what would you tell your younger self knowing what you know today? What would you have talked about? How would you have answered those questions? Would you have talked about the impact of AI on jobs, the benefit of technology in medicine and research, the impact of AI on the art community, the ability of AI to help kids learn differently? That's what they talked about. As they shared about charities, I could only think about how our community would be different if we funded these 12 ladies' initiatives. They would have food boxes for families in need, provide free tutoring for kids that are less fortunate, allow people to recycle sports equipment so all kids have an opportunity to have quality equipment, help young athletes deal with race, capture stray animals, build animal shelters, start an initiative to collect toys for Fidelco dogs, create a place where women can be themselves and provide beauty and other necessities, a place for kids to go and talk about mental health, and a group that can keep public spaces clean so that we can gather in community. Is that what you would have talked about? How would our community look different if these all existed? Now the sage advice that they gave their younger selves. Be confident. People will feed off of it. Try new things. We are all experiencing life together, so don't worry so much about what others think. Trust your gut. Be okay with being alone and saying no. Push yourself harder. Get involved in more things. Follow your heart and do what you think is right. Don't worry. Things are temporary. Look at the bigger picture. Don't procrastinate. Go outside your comfort zone. Don't worry about what others think, because everyone is thinking about themselves. Branch out, take more risks, take grades seriously, but not too seriously. You are smart, you are beautiful, don't give up. What would you tell your younger self? How would you have benefited from their advice? All the contestants used their time with the judges as an opportunity to open the door into their lives and allow the judges to see another glimmer of who they are. Each judge then scored based on community and service involvement, outside interests, knowledge of current events, appearance, poise, personality, and attitude. Finally, the culmination of all the judging occurred tonight, as you witnessed. The judges have cast their final vote based on the essay, the contestants' poise, and their appearance. This is the remaining 25% of the overall score. As you can see tonight, and as we have learned more about this future generation, as we heard in their speeches and as the judges and I have heard throughout the competition, these young women have stories that we can all learn from. We should all be proud of them and proud of the many people in this room whose support and encouragement has helped to mold them into the people they are today. To have programs like this going on for over 55 years and to build a tradition that is so ingrained in our community that young people look to this night in anticipation and excitement for years and hope to one day stand where all of you are standing is unique, but it's wonderful. To have a community full of businesses and organizations that help to showcase the talent of its residents is unfortunately not too common. So I thank you all for your support of the Shad Derby and supporting these women. I've been helping out with the Shad Derby since 2007, which I recognized earlier is probably the year most of you were born. But for me, it's an opportunity to give back in a small way to the community I grew up in. I will leave the 12 of you at this point. In this world, there are things that are bigger than yourself. You all stand before us with a lot of vision, a lot of promise, and a lot of raw talent. You have the potential to do great things, influence a lot of people, and be successful in ways that you will personally define. But never forget where you came from, who encouraged you, and helped you along the way. And always be willing to give back to the community that gave to you, just like the many people in this room have done for you. Don't forget the advice that you would give your younger self, or the passion that you have for the charities you would start. You are a beacon of hope for our future, and when you look back at your life 50 years from now, these are the areas of impact that will make you proud and will have shaped our future society. I look forward to seeing what you all accomplish. Thank you all, and I'll turn it over for the results.
At this time, I want to invite up our festival chair, Patricia Mason, to present the Vincent Scully Memorial Award. Patty.
The Community Service Award is named in honor of Vince Scully, the longtime Windsor resident, business owner, festival chair, and 30-year sponsor of the Shad Derby Queen's candidates. It is awarded to the candidate who obtains the largest number of participants for the Shad Derby Bowling fundraiser that took place on March 16th this year. In keeping with the Vince Scully's drive and ambition to always strive for excellence. And this year's Vince Scully Award participant winner is Chloe Taylor.
Now I would like to welcome back Regina Wiggins and Monica Nugent to present the Windsor Junior Women's Club Mary Ellen Messina Award.
Each year at the Coronation Ball, the Windsor Junior Women's Club honors a candidate at the Shad Derby Queen's competition. We bestowed this Community Involvement Award to the candidate who best exemplifies a great regard for involvement in the Windsor community. In 1969, Mary Ellen Messina spearheaded the charter group of Windsor Juniors on a path of service, fundraising, and community awareness. Her contributions to people of Windsor illustrated a deep commitment to community and enforced the quality of life in our town. Windsor Juniors contribute to keep her sense of community alive by giving this award in her memory.
The winner of the 2025 Mary Ellen Messina Award is Charlotte Rose Anderson. The Shad Derby tradition is kept alive through the generous contributions from many local businesses. These wonderful contributions are listed in the program. It is due to the generosity of these supporters and each of the candidate sponsors that we were able to present the 2024-2025 Shad Derby Queen and their wonderful awards. And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the Miss Congeniality Award. And the Miss Congeniality Award is chosen by the girls themselves. And the winner is Charlotte Rose Anderson. The next award is the Shad Derby Second Princess. And the second princess is Chloe Taylor. Our next award is the Shad Derby First Princess. Thank you. And the Shad Derby First Princess is Sydney Hicks. And now, the 2025 Shad Derby Princess Royale. Ava Passon. The 2025 Shad Derby Queen will receive a Shad Derby Award and a beautiful tiara donated by the Elvid family. And now, the 2025 Shad Derby Queen. And the queen is Hannah Donzella. Now I ask that you please remain seated for a moment while our Queen's Court, their parents and sponsors come to the stage. Once again, congratulations to the 2025 Shad Derby Queen and Court. On behalf of the Windsor Junior Women's Club, thank you for coming and enjoy your evening.